Hi guys, so in today's video we're going to work with data merge within Affinity Publisher 2. Data merge is a great tool where you can take information from an Excel spreadsheet and put it into your publication. It used to be called mail merge back in the old days because it would take a database of names and addresses and combine them with a standard letter. Bang, you've got personalised letters. But we're going to do it with books. Now I like to use them for me appointment books and planners. It's really good at getting the dates and days and years and things like that all matched up, so you can just create one double page spread and then straight away with a couple of clicks you've got yourself a full 52-week planner. I also like to use it for prompt journals, or I do a couple of journals, self-help journals. I say self-help, like 5-minute sort of journals, self-reflection journals I suppose, where I put an inspirational quote on the bottom of each page. And again, with data merge, it makes it much easier. It also allows you to uniform things like the text, the positioning on a page and things like that. So it's great for organising your work, and it's great for making things a lot easier. Instead of making, like I say, a full, say 100-page planner, you make a double page spread, hit your data merge settings, and then that's it, you're laughing. So in today's vid, we are going to make one particular book, and then I'll give you examples of how else you can use data merge. So here we are in Affinity Publisher 2, and what we're going to make is a simple journal with a quote on each double page. Now this can be niched down into anything really. You could have it as gratitude, business, sports, religion, any sort of appropriate quote that fits your niche you can have in here. And by doing it, you can have hundreds of different books with the same idea, just with different quotes on the top. So the first thing to do is to create a lined journal. To do this, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way with a table tool. And remember, although I'm doing this in Affinity Publisher, you can do it in any publishing software you want. So we'll just start like this and see how we'll go. This is a 6x9 book. The blue lines around the outside of the page are the margin, where any textual elements need to be. The outer line is the bleed, which we're not going to use the bleed in this particular instance, but you might want to. So this is how it looks at the minute. I'll just take the things off. So that's the table there. What we want to do is to remove these side lines. And to do that, we're going to the table tool section. We'll select one of these first. And then we go to select, it's been so long since I've made one of these, outside vertical, and we'll turn it off. And then that's that. That's your line journal. Very simple. It's the first book a lot of people make to get used to how to create books. Really, really simple. And I'm just going to drag Control Shift this across. I will turn the guides back on just so I can make sure I'm in the right area. A bit further. There we go. So that's the line journal created, and we're going to have a inspirational quote in this section here. Now what we need to do is to find those inspirational quotes, and to do that I'm going to use ChatGPT. So here we are on ChatGPT. I'm just going to say give me 50 inspirational quotes about business. So now it's going to generate 50 quotes. We're going to copy these and we're going to put them into an Excel spreadsheet. So here are the quotes in Excel. Now we do need a heading quote, and if you want to, you can check if these quotes are actually attributed to the right person. ChatGPT doesn't always get it right, although it is getting better. So now that's done, we need to save this with a memorable name, and then we'll go to the next step in Affinity. So now we're going to set up the data merge file, the file that we're going to merge with this document. So we'll go to Window, and obviously whichever publishing software you use, this will be different. Data Merge Manager, and then to add the file, we'll click the button here. And as you can see, this is the file now loaded up. I called mine Quotebook Notebook because it sounds fun to say. That's the file there. You can show it, you can change. If you've got other sheets with data, do it there. Press the show button, it shows you where the file's saved. Here you can change which records you want to use. We're going to use all 50, but you can change it if you just want to use 30 of them. And we're going to ignore this bit for the time being. So now back in master pages, we're going to set where we want the text to show up and how we want it to show up, what format, what font, what size, the alignment of the text within the text box. And to do that, we click on this little button here, which is the Data Merge Layout tool. So I'm just going to draw my file there. The layout there. And as you can see, it automatically puts it in 2 columns and 2 rows. We just want one of each. 1 column, 1 row, because we're only having one data set put in each area. And then inside this data merge field, you can see the data merge layout, we're going to add a text box. Now, because we're using just one piece of text, we are just going to put an empty text field in there. And again, I'll just pull it out to its... There you go, that's quite a nice size. And as you can see in the layers panel, it's inside the data merge layout. In here, we're going to centerize and align centrally the cursor, and we're going to change the font. We'll have it in, we'll just try it in 20, and whichever font you fancy. I'll do it in Annie just for something handwritten. So that's the text box setup. Now we're going to tell this text box and data merge area which data from that spreadsheet we want putting in. So to do that, we go to Window, down to References, and then down to Fields. As you can see, the Fields window opens up, and we have got the data merge thingy there. Quote book, notebook. And when we open up that drop down, you can see that's the file that we had. If we did different headings like quote, author, any other columns, they would also be under here, but we've only got the one, so that's fine. Now to add that into this text box, we'll make sure that the cursor's in the text box, and we'll just double click quote. There you go, that's it there. Simple bimples. So now the quote is going to appear here in this font at this size, and at this time you might want to actually change the size of it, so we can go up to 30. And you might also want to adjust where it is in the actual data merge window. So that's it. That is it. We have set up, we have created the Excel file. We've told this document that we want to merge with that file, and then we have told the data merge layout which bit of data we want to put in to this square. All that's left to do is to set up the rest of the pages. So I'm just going to clear the masters from that, from page 1. Then I'm going to add 2 pages underneath. With master A on it. And now we're going to go back into the data merge manager. And we're going to deal with this section here. So this is going to tell the data merge which pages we want merging and repeating. So in this instance, we don't want all pages because there's nothing on page 1. We just want page 2 and page 3. And then when I press generate, it's going to generate a 101 page book with the quotes. Now hopefully there's going to be a little problem here, and I'll show you that if it happens. If not, I'll show you on another file. And that's it. Quick as peas. It generates the file into a different document. So you don't use the original, so you can still mess about with this if there are a few errors. I'll just shut that down because we don't need it. And there we go. So this is the part of the quote. Now, as you can see, the quote doesn't fit on because the text box is too small. And there's not really a lot we can do with it, to be honest. We can't change the size of the text box because it's in the master page. And the master page, so even though we've got the master page here, we can't really adjust the text box or the size. Maybe we shouldn't make it 50. You can't really change the size of the text anymore because it's been generated already. So I've made it 60, but as you can see, this hasn't changed. And if we change it to something like 25. So changing the text box in the master page now won't do anything like this. Won't change any of these details here. So that's a problem. So to combat that problem, there are two options we can do. We can, because this is a simple notepad, we can shut that down without saving. We can go into the original document, into the master page, and change this font size to 12. Again, we'll generate this now by going to Windows, Data Merge Manager, and this is already selected, so we'll click Generate. And here we go. So that helps. You'll have to go through and make sure they all fit. Seems to be fine. So we'll do that. We can make the text smaller in the original file and then output it. Or the other option, I'll just make that big again, is to remove the data merge from the master page and put it directly onto page 1. And I'll show you what happens when we do that. Here we go. So now we're back at the big font. It doesn't fit in this window. Because each text box is actually on the individual page rather than the master page, we can adjust it. We can make the individual text smaller. We can change the font if you want to have different fonts, if you don't like that. It's always easy to set up before you merge, but you can still mess around with things. And that comes in handy when you need to individually adjust the amount of space that each text box is given. But generally speaking, it's a lot easier to set these sort of things up before you do the merge. So that's just one simple book you can make with data merge. You can make more complex books like these. So this here is an appointment book that I made, and it's all done by mail merge. That means all I need is technically one, if I can find the right page, all I need is one double page spread, like this is a template. Then I set up the mail merge and I get a fully dated, brilliant appointment book. So all of these are mail merged items. They all come from a spreadsheet. So instead of just having, to use the quote example, if I wanted to have more than one quote on a page, say if I wanted a quote on each page, you'd have to have more than one data merge layout with the same field in it. So you'd have to have, well, in fact, let's show you. So I'll just copy that over. So I've just simply control and pasted that. So now I've got two quotes. One will appear on each side of the page, on each individual page. Obviously it uses the quotes twice as quick. But let's try this. So here we go. These are the quotes getting used on each side of the page, and as you'll see, there'll be less pages. And as you can see, there's 50 pages rather than 100 because obviously we've got one on each page. That's what I did in this book, but as you can see, there's 7. Just a bit more complicated. And this is even more complicated. This is using multiple data sets from multiple sheets. So each of this calendar, each of these dates on the calendar are all mail merged, as are each of the dates. The days are just text files from the master page. The month is data merged, as is the year. So you can do more complex things. The final book I want to show you is a Would You Rather book that I've just knocked up. So this is a pre-merged document that I've made. Would You Rather book, very simple. There's 3 on each page. Would you rather option 1 or option 2? Now I've set all this up. The background images were in master pages. These text files, would you rather, and all of this are set up in the individual pages because some of the options are quite long, some of them are quite short, so you can move around individual elements on the page. I'll show you the spreadsheet for this first. Here it is. Here, the red ones are ones that have been duplicated, so they appear multiple times in the area. That's a good idea to highlight them so you can delete them. I got this from ChatGPT. That's another thing I should say. So they're not necessarily great, but I just knocked it up quickly. So we've got option 1 as a header, option 2 as a header. And the idea is that the data merge file will work through each one of option 1 when it needs to, and each one of option 2 when it needs to, when it's called upon. And here it is here, option 1, option 2. I'll quickly merge these and we'll see what it looks like. And this is the book after it's been merged. The questions are simple, but this is just for illustrative purposes. Would you rather be a chicken or a duck? Extra nose, extra eye. These are all populated by that Excel sheet. So look here, chicken, duck, extra nose, extra eye. Want to be able to hister, want to be able to whisper, want to be able to shout. Never be able to watch movies, never be able to watch music. I turned Scouse there. So you can see they're all here. But as you can see, you just need to select the text box and then you can change the font if you want to, or the size or anything. But like I say, if you can do it in master pages, it's not a bad idea. Either or works though. Master pages is good to use if you want everything uniform. But if you need to pull things about, then this is it's a way to do it. But they both work. They both work absolutely fine. Now, one thing you might notice in these data merge layouts, and I'll just show you this here. Click the wrong one. Is if we go back to where we had the columns and rows. I'll just pull this down a bit. In fact, I'll just hide that. So if we added more columns to it, you'll notice that whatever happens in the first column, text-wise, appears in the second column. That's good if you're going to have quotes on one page, or I did that for the academic planners. It was 4 rows, but I stretched it out and measured it so that each field was in the correct place. So there you go, 4 quotes. So anything you type in here, be it a field or just a regular bit of text, and remember it is just a text box, so we can't type in, it appears in the other squares. So that's it for today's video. Just a little brief video on how you can use data merge to help with your low and medium content books. It's a really easy way to add niche ability and make your books a bit more interesting. Like a lined book with quotes on the top is more interesting than just a normal lined book, and it's just as easy to do. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.